First of all, thank you, Sam, and thank you, Audrey, for thinking of public libraries and including us in this discussion today, the symposium on diversity. Libraries are really changing. As one of my colleagues here today, or maybe it wasn't a colleague, but somebody said to me, in the past 10 years and 5 years, libraries have changed unbelievably. Of course, we've gone from books to e-books to Zinnios where you can download magazines. We do all kinds of community outreach, reaching out and partnering and networking with our community groups. We too, Martin, are just finishing in Whitby a strategic plan in which we're looking at what are the hopes, dreams, and visions of the people who live in Whitby, and how can we, the library, fit in and make their lives better. So it really makes me feel good listening to the discussion that's going on here today, thinking that libraries are really part of our communities. We're integral, we're welcoming, we are inclusive, we invite everybody in, we provide many, many services to newcomers and to the disadvantaged and the advantaged as well. Having said that, I thought I'd give a little background as to how I am here and how you, Samantha, invited me here. A few years ago, Samantha met with me at the library in Whitby to talk about the Local Diversity and Immigration Partnership Council and its work in developing a diversity and immigration partnership plan, communication plan. As the plan points out, municipalities have a role in the integration and settlement of newcomers in Canada. Samantha wisely understood that public libraries have a very large role and a very large responsibility in helping newcomers integrate into our communities. And there are 8 library systems in Durham region. We're all municipally funded, and we are all governed, though, by the Public Libraries Act, provincial. Welcoming and inclusive, the public library is one of the first places that newcomers visit when they come to Durham region. We receive thousands and thousands of newcomers. We help them with all kinds of things: housing, government information, health information, educational information, job searches, all kinds of things, providing materials in their own languages, allowing them to look at DVDs in English. Many people have told us, gee, you know what? The library and your DVD collection helped me learn English. It was so helpful to me. That's all good. So after Samantha and I talked about the many services that libraries offer newcomers, we moved on to talk about how libraries could support the council. And I'm pleased to say that the Durham Library subsequently provided input and content for the Durham Immigration Portal, which was up on your screen earlier. And I think it was on my suggestion that I suggested that a library representative be added to the Dipsea Council. And Donna Bright from the Ajax Public Library is a member of the council, and I know is doing a good job. So I'm really pleased that Donna represents libraries on your council. And then in our talk, Samantha and I also talked about how public libraries are governed, and this is really the nature of my talk. Maybe not the most interesting thing I could say about libraries, but it's of value and it's interesting, and there is a diversity component, which I will get to. But that's what Samantha asked me to talk to you today about. The Public Libraries Act is good in some ways because, for one thing, what it says is that library services should be accessible, they should be free for the most part, and they should be tailored to the needs of our specific communities. Our communities are diverse, as we know, and our library services, in turn, are very diverse. They're changing all the time. The Provincial Act also states that each public library is to be governed by a library board, which is accountable to the municipality and the province. So what's a library board? Well, a library board is a group of citizens appointed by their municipal council responsible for governing the public library, making sure that it's properly managed. In other words, the board's charged with providing public service to their community. Under the legislation, board members are appointed for 4 years, and their term is concurrent with the term of council. So when the new Whitby Council is elected this October, one of its first duties will be to appoint a new library board, and those people will be appointed for 4 years, same as their term of the councillors. Library boards are required to meet monthly, 10 times a year, with the exception of July and August. And I should add, too, as my boss, Claude Lavoie over here, I was vice chair of my board and former board chair, mentioned today, the board members are volunteers. they aren't paid. But I introduced Claude to somebody as my boss, and he said, well, the difference is he gets the bucks. I don't. That's true. But we appreciate you. So library boards are responsible to select and establish and evaluate the CEO, me. They establish the operating and administrative policies of the library. They establish service goals for the library, and hence we're doing a new service strategic development plan, service plan. They secure funds from the municipality. So working with the staff, we prepare a budget following the guidelines of our treasurer and our council, and we submit a budget, we defend it, and we get our grant from our municipality. And the library board's responsible for overseeing that budget, for overseeing the budget process and understanding that council has the final authority and approval over the library budget. And then who can be on a library board? Well, again, the legislation is pretty specific. Sit on the Whitby Public Library Board, you need to be a Canadian citizen, you need to be a resident of Whitby, you cannot be employed by the library board in Whitby nor by the municipality, and you have to be at least 18 years of age. So those are the qualifications. And the Act states that a library board must have at least 5 members to the board, and it can have a number of councillors on the board too, as long as the councillors don't represent the majority of the board. Makes sense, I guess. In Whitby, we have 1 councillor. Our councillor rep is Regional Councillor Don Mitchell. So what's the role then of council, of the municipal council, in appointing citizens to a library board? Well, provincial legislation requires that the municipality has to advertise and fill vacancies on the library board. And so in the fall of this year, the town of Whitby will invite qualified residents to apply to the library board. 4 years ago, in 2010, our former board, the outgoing board, decided they were going to do something different and really unheard of in libraries. It was quite, excuse the pun, novel. Anyway, they came up with the unusual decision of developing a succession plan for the board. A planning to help ensure that the new board would represent the community, bringing a diverse spectrum of community interests to the table, helping to ensure that the library would serve the entire community. The concept of a library board succession plan was really well received by our town clerk, Debbie Wilcox. It's been adopted by, I think, a number of other library boards since then. So in developing this succession plan, the board wanted to do a few things. They wanted to ensure a smooth succession of members, balancing new ideas and new energies with the experience of the older and the outgoing board members. What they hoped for and what they in fact got were some new members to the board bringing fresh ideas, and some of the older members returned and they had the institutional knowledge. So it was a good balance and a good blend. The board also wanted to identify the knowledge, the skills, the experience needed by board members to achieve library goals. All of this was advertised in advance so that if somebody thought, gee, the library board sounds good, I'm going to throw my name in, at least people were aware, here's what a library board is, these are the responsibilities, this is the commitment from you, this is how you can contribute to your community. Importantly, the library board wanted to achieve diversity of board members that reflected our community in Whitby. It's diversity in terms of age, gender, skills, and culture. As part of the plan, the board decided to develop an information package as well for prospective board members, and that worked out really well. The board succession plan has a number of sections. It has an introduction talking about its purpose to appoint a board that's reflective of the community. So it's diverse and deep. It explains the appointment process, namely that the town clerk advertises for the applications as prescribed by law. It explains that the library will also advertise vacancies. As you know, if you look at our library websites, we're very savvy when it comes to technology. We're really into social media. Our websites encourage and are very successful in social engagement. And so we advertise a lot of things that way too. We help our municipalities by advertising all kinds of community events because we get many, many thousands of hits to our library websites, not just in Whitby, but throughout Durham, throughout all libraries. So we advertise a lot via our website. But we also, though, too, we took advantage of the opportunity. The town of Whitby, in 2010, there are a number of boards and committees of council, and there were openings on these, as well as the library board, which is treated a little differently because of the legislation. But we were invited by the town clerk to participate in a forum. So the chair and I were there, and we had all kinds of information on library boards. This is what a library board is, and these are the qualifications we're interested in. This would be your commitment in terms of time, and so on. We met an awful lot of people. I think it was very successful, and as it turned out, we got about 70 applicants to the library board last time, which was really unheard of in libraries. That was pretty impressive. And I really think a large part of it was because we had the succession plan. We really thought about, okay, let's advertise the jobs to try to attract good people, people who are representative of the community. And I also like to think, too, that part of it had to do with the Whitby Public Library reputation, because I am never shy to boast about how fantastic my library system is. All of them are. Ours, I think, is one of the best. We not only have spectacular collections, we have awesome, awesome libraries. We've got great staff. We have visionary library boards that we've always have been supportive and worked closely with us. And we have had a number of councils, too, who have seen the value of public libraries and have funded us so that we can have top-notch libraries. Anyway, we got 70 applicants, and that was really cool. And so here we are in 2014. I've got a hyperlink to our library board website. And Sam, I don't know if you can click that. That's our board page. It would be the top one.
Thinking.
Oh, okay. But what this will do is this takes you to our library board webpage on our library website. So we have profiles of our board members, but we also have all kinds of policy annual reports, our strategic plan, board meeting dates, agendas, minutes, our board succession plan, all there. So if you're thinking, gee, maybe I'd like to be on the library board in 2015 for the next 4 years, if you got time and something to offer us, check that out because there's some good information there. The other thing I wanted to point out, if you can flip back, Sam, to that other slide there, is our newcomer page, because I started off by saying libraries have all kinds of service for newcomers. Phenomenal, phenomenal resources. Free, albeit people pay for these for their tax money, but we don't charge people for library cards. However, we've got all kinds of great information for newcomers, and this is used an awful lot as well. None of this is static. We're changing all the time. We're evolving all the time. We're getting better all the time. We're developing our community partnerships all the time. So to get back to my script, well, it's now 2014, time to dust off the old succession plan, make it even more relevant so that next time that we get the best people on our library board who can bring skills and diversity, and when I say diversity, cultural diversity, educational diversity, age diversity, mobility diversity, all kinds of diversity to our board so that it is stronger, so that we truly represent the community that we serve. My email address is, if you want to back up, Sam, on that last slide. I'm around over lunch if you want to ask me questions about board succession plans or about what libraries do. If you've got ideas on how we can be more accessible, more diverse, more successful in what we do, I would love to hear from you. Email me, talk to me. Talk to Claude Lavoie, who is also there. Talk to Donna Bright, who's the head of the Ajax Library, because I really think libraries rock, and we have a very important place in this discussion. Thank you.